So you might see a little sign that shows up that says to record and click OK. So
Oh,
welcome to another Wellness Wednesday. I'm actually going to go ahead and just mute everybody right now, just so that no interferences happen. If you do have anything you want to add or say, you could unmute yourself, raise your hand, or you can throw something in the chat. Okay. My name is Sean Solinger. I am a health program coordinator here with Healthy Aging Association. I also am the head program coordinator for the Dignity at Home Fall Prevention Program, which we will also talk about a little bit towards the end when we talk about a couple more of our programs, okay? So that's the start of this, right? So we are Wellness Wednesday, once a month, last Wednesday of the month, and we just have some good talks about fall prevention, okay? So as you can tell, this presentation is recorded, okay? We like to post it on YouTube channel and our website and our Facebook page, okay? If you feel uncomfortable by being recorded, just feel free to go ahead and turn off your camera. And then I put a little note on the bottom here to check YouTube because we have previous recordings on there, all right? So if you're not sick and tired of me talking and you want to hear more of me, just go onto YouTube. You can type in Wellness Wednesday, look at the month, and every month is a different topic. Okay. So this is brought to you pretty much by Healthy Aging Association. It is a 501 nonprofit organization. Okay, we're a nonprofit. Our mission is to help older Americans live longer, healthier, more independent lives by promoting increased physical activity, sound health, and some nutrition practices, okay? So it's not just working out and grab bars, you know, it's nutrition as well that'll play a factor, okay? So I like to start these off usually by giving you all some good statistics, okay? The goals of assistive devices use are to improve independent mobility, right? The reducing of disability and delaying functional decline. There's an estimated 6.1 million adults that use mobility devices. Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot of people, and that and it makes sense. You know, I think I've heard somewhere that we are moving to where there's actually more older adults than even younger people in the population, right? So makes sense. Canes, walkers, crutches, and 2/3 of those persons are older than 65. Okay, so we do classify 65 and up for most of our programs. So only about 1/3 of patients obtain their device through a medical professional, and only 20% of patients received education on how to properly use that device, right? A little more background on me that I forgot to mention in the very beginning, like I usually do, but I did work in physical therapy as an aide for a few years. That is my goal with school. So I have seen firsthand that I've seen people come in with a cane and not using it correctly, right? So it is always great when you do get an assistive device from your doctors to make sure that they show you how to properly use it, okay? It's a big, big thing to do. So moving on, some safety and staying fall free, just information, right? Is that falls can lead to many things, including serious injury, okay? And it can change your life. Your eyesight, hearing, reflexes may not be as sharp as if paired with chronic illness like diabetes and heart disease. Your balance can be affected from all those, okay? With that, so staying on top of your medical, getting checked in with a doctor. I know I've mentioned that before multiple times on these talks, is talking with your doctor about your eyesight, your hearing, reflexes, and things like that to make sure you're doing everything you can to combat falling, okay? So let's move into our talk about some things we can do, right? So one big thing we can do to help reduce falls in the home, just in general, this isn't even assisted devices yet, is just to throw out some throw rugs, okay? I am at war with throw rugs because anytime I do a home assessment, I'm always telling people that I recommend they should either throw them out or tape them down. You can actually purchase some throw rugs that are non-slip, and those are great as well. Okay. So I also wanted to throw in some good things about adding support into your home. Tim from Home Safety Services is actually here with us today, so that's great. Um, and those are things like grab bars, even night lights. There's some non-slip bath mats that are a great thing. There's plenty of other fall prevention accessories out there that can make a big difference in your home safety. Okay. And this is a huge point too, using your assistive devices. There's a lot of times where people have an assistive device and they don't want to use it, or they feel embarrassed using it, or something like that. And that's typically what will lead to a fall, because you have the assistive device for a reason. It's a tool. Think of it just as a tool, okay? You're using it because it's going to help prevent falls for you, okay? Um, use those canes, properly. Use your wheelchair when needed, or if you have to always use your wheelchair, then use that wheelchair. Okay. I really like this point on the bottom, to move slowly and intentionally. I know I'm in a rush. I'm always moving quick and I have to tell myself to slow down. I know lots of older adults that do the same thing. Okay. You're moving fast like you used to, and you might have slower reflexes now that are developing, and that can lead to a fall too. Okay, just moving too quick, and next thing you know, you trip on a crack in the street, you trip over something in the house, and you can go down and have a very bad fall, and that could have an injury, and we just don't want that to happen. So make sure also that you move slowly when getting out of a chair or standing from your bed. I had a client from a home assessment not too long ago who was getting off the toilet, and she got off too fast, got dizzy, and fell. But she was okay. But it's just knowing even that little movement of getting up can just throw your blood pressure off and make you dizzy and fall. And just don't rush. Okay. Overall, just don't rush. So there's a good amount of slides I want to talk about today. One thing is, hazards, right? So using your shower, most, not most, but a lot of showers still have, the slick bottoms, and they can be very slippery to use. I've definitely learned from my program in doing home assessments, and I've learned from Home Safety Services that some showers have a textured bottom, which are great. I think I've seen more new ones have a textured bottom built into it. And those are great just to have grip with your feet. So it can prevent a fall while you're in that shower. But if you don't, those non-slip bath mats are great at using to reduce the risk of falls. Sometimes if you get really there's some that aren't the best, and they can cause a headache because they can get crinkled up and stuff too. Certain ones, like ones that I've used from Home Safety Services, are permanent bath mats that you can clean while they're at and they won't come up, and those won't really get crinkled up on your feet or anything, which can kind of cause a fall. Always checking your bath mat is a good thing to do though. So if you have one that has the suction cups on the bottom, always checking it to make sure it's nice and flat and not kinked up in any way is a good thing to try to do. Okay. And we'll move to our next slide, where we're going to talk a little bit about non-slip bath mats still, and toilet safety frames. Non-slip bath mats are recommended to help reduce those falls in the bathroom when it comes wet. There is that antimicrobial and antibacteria. So that's the ones I was talking about that can be like permanent and stuff. They prevent the growth of bacteria, or the substance can kill bacteria. Okay, so they're easier to clean and maintain too. A toilet safety frame. I personally love these. They are great. Sometimes people have difficulty getting off the toilet, but it's not that it's too low. It's just that they have difficulty kind of strength wise. This device has arms on both sides, so you can push up to stand. It's a really good one. If the toilet seat is too low, a toilet seat riser is a great accessory to put in. Okay, it's a great one to have to make sure that your legs you're not bending your legs too much to sit too low, and then it's more difficult to get up. So that's where a toilet seat riser would come into play. But the safety frame can be that other substitute to where if you're like, well, it's not too low, but I still have difficulty, then that toilet safety frame can be a really cool option too that will really help. Okay. Let's go to the next one. We'll talk a little bit about our grab bars, right? So these are all, we're talking about these accessories to be put into your home, right? That you can change around your environment, right? So grab bars are very big. And again, these are installations from houses I did recently through Home Safety Services, so that's great. You know, they aren't very difficult to have them installed. Okay, when it comes to fall prevention accessories, they're not going to be the most expensive if you do it on your own. They are a great tool to have. They can make a huge difference in your shower safety because you'll have something sturdy to hold on to. You're not holding on to the little bar where your rag is supposed to be, right? Or your dish for your soap or something. I know I muted everybody. If you can unmute yourself, where are some good locations to have grab bars installed? If you're able to unmute yourself before you talk, though, but feel free to talk. So where would be a good location to have grab bars installed? That could be in the shower or out of the shower, right? Okay. If you can unmute yourself, great. If you're having difficulty, it's okay. You can always put it in the chat.
You can put one right outside your shower door where you open the door so you have something to hang on to when you're opening your shower and then when you're getting out.
Yeah, Rose, good job. Perfect. That's a great answer, right? Is, you know, outside that shower, right? Not in the shower, like that's a good place too, but you can also do it depending on which way the door opens in the wall, is outside the shower, right? That is great. Good answer. And then Tim threw into the chat, your entrance to your house or your garage. So that's a good place too, right? There have been instances where a grab bar worked better than having a handrail put in or something, and it could be a lot more inexpensive if you're doing it on your own, right? If you're paying for it. But yes, those grab bars can be put in various places of the home. I had one put next to the front door inside the home so that a gentleman's wife would have more support when she was going and coming from appointments, because he always said she was almost fell by the front door. The garage, you know, I think the shower is probably one of the biggest ones. I've seen some that have been put in next to a toilet too, where like a toilet safety frame wouldn't work. That can happen too. I've actually had some installed next to a bed, right, to help somebody get out of their bed. So there's, you know, these are tools that can be put in various areas. It's not just your bathroom. Okay. Good, great answers. So we'll talk a little bit about shower chairs for another good accessory. Okay, this is one that I really like to get for individuals too. I think it's it makes a world of difference for people. So why use a shower chair? When kind of should you start using a shower chair? Maybe you should talk to your doctor first, obviously. Okay, you should ask them if you should be using a shower chair, but some kind of common sense terms to think about would be, you know, are you having a lot of pain to where it hurts to stand? Are you overall just having a high risk of falling in the bathroom? And if you're just not able to stand for very long periods of time or for like a certain amount of time, then you're probably going to be better off using a shower chair. Again, speak to your doctor about stuff like this too. But shower chairs can come in many different shapes and sizes to make sure that all levels of mobility are accommodated. And it's also different shower types. You know, some showers can't fit a shower chair that's in this picture. So there's this little triangle shower chair I've used before that works really well for those tighter shower spaces. Every client that I've had that for has always said it works great. So using a shower chair is really good. It really increases your safety because you can bathe, take your time bathing. You're not rushing, right? Like we were talking about a minute ago. You're taking your time, you're sitting down, being able to wash yourself and bathe properly, okay? Great. Moving on. So different types of assistive devices, okay? As I mentioned earlier, Dr. Bob was supposed to join us today, but he was unable to join us. He had a previous engagement. So these are kind of his slides that we would, he would typically be touching on more, but he did give me some points to mention at the end of this. But I just wanted to run down and talk to you about a few of them myself, okay? Canes, okay? Number one, canes. So if you're feeling a little off balance, cane's a good tool to use. Wrong one prong or four prongs, right? So, you can use it on both sides of your body. If leaning strongly on a cane, then it's recommended you might want to consider a walker, right? You don't want to be leaning too much on a cane, and then that's not going to be able to really support that whole body weight as good as a walker would. Which one do you feel like would be more secure for you if you were really dependent on that cane? Would it be that one prong or the four prongs? If anybody wants to shoot out an answer, you can. Some of you might be muted, so don't forget about that. But I'll go ahead and say it'll probably be that four prong, right? You're going to have more surface area kind of covered, so you'll have more stability with it. Okay, so those four prong ones can be very good. They're just a little heavier, I think, but they're still really good to use. Okay, moving on. We'll talk about crutches a little bit. I know crutches are, to me, they're more related towards injury, right? So if you had some sort of an injury or something like that, you might use a crutches or a crutch, right? They are versatile. They're more versatile than a wheelchair. And they're higher fall risk too. Being sure you know how to use them properly is a very, very big trick. Okay, it's a very big thing. All right. Making sure that if a doctor does give you crutches, that you make sure they show you how to properly use them. And you don't want to have, I know from past experience, you don't want to have your weight solely from your armpits in those grooves. It can cause an injury too. But you want to be able to make sure you're using any equipment properly. Okay. You need to have some good balance and good upper body strength, right? Because that's all in your arms. Okay. So before you start using these, know that you need that really good upper body strength. Okay. Proper walking surface is a non-slip and it's level. Wouldn't really try to climb hills with crutches. And it's not the best choice for most seniors. Okay, you're much better off using that cane or using that walker. Like I said, that's why I don't know about crutches, but it is good to know just to make sure you know how to properly use it in case you did have some kind of an injury and your doctor did give you crutches. Okay. Now we'll talk about the big one that I think is a great tool, right? Is the walker. So has a little bit worse balance and more learning, right? There's some that are with or without wheels, right? Some just have those two front wheels like this, and then the back has no wheels, and you'll see other tennis balls on to help them move easier. Some are foldable. This one here is foldable as well. You could put back. They're going to be more stable than canes, than most canes in most situations. Some of these newer walkers have the brakes on them. Some of them have the seat as well with a little storage compartment underneath it. I know that's the one my grandmother had. The only thing about walkers that I like to always point out is if you have a walker like that has the brakes on the bottom and it has a seat, people tend to use that seat. I think it's great to use that seat. But just be mindful that when you lock those brakes, sometimes they begin to wear and they don't walk properly and they will begin to still move. So people can be very, confident in their walker lock it, turn to sit and knock it and it moves, and then they can kind of miss it or sit on the edge and they can kind of have a fall. So just making sure that it's working properly, right? So locking it and seeing if it moves before you start to use it like that, okay? And then you can adjust to see if you need to have it fixed or repaired, okay? But just making sure that it locks before you sit on it is a good thing to know, okay? You know, if you're still having a bad risk for falls while using your walker, then, you know, it might be that you might need to be using a wheelchair for the time being, at least, right? So again, that's something you would want to talk to your doctor about. Say, you know, hey, I'm still feeling scared and I'm still shaky and I feel like I might fall using my walker, or I had a fall using my walker. Then you might want to try using a wheelchair, which, as you could probably guess, is our next point. There's different kinds of wheelchairs, right? These are for people that have very poor balance or strength. You can just be weak, right? Um, so there's electric or manual, folding or not, right? Um, some are cheap, they're easy and portable. Some are expensive and durable, right? So many options for special needs, such as difficulty sitting straight. It can be good for bed sore prevention if you are unable to be as mobile, right? It definitely is one of the safer ones to use because you're sitting, okay? I do know that, you know, you don't want to be in a wheelchair all the time, because then you're going to be weakening your leg muscles, right? They're gonna, you know, if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it. So you want to make sure that you are trying to do things to strengthen your legs so you can still walk. Okay. Electric scooters are a good point too. We'll talk about. These aren't always covered by insurance, but they're very good for big spaces like in a large house, shopping, going outside. Um, they are good to use. If you are having that really higher fall risk and you're really worried about falling, yeah, they might be good for you, okay? If you're not able to use that walker and you're using a wheelchair, a scooter might just be an easier one to use. They're electric, you know, you don't have to really manually use it or have somebody push you. That's what's good about them. There's a great variation of them, all kinds of different styles, designs, but servicing can be expensive. Okay, so they do cost a little bit of money. A couple of other things that we're going to talk about for accessories. One's going to be reachers and grabbers. This is one that I do like to recommend for pretty much every home assessment that I go to. They work great in the kitchen. I always advise people to make sure you're moving items to the lower bottom half of your shelves. That way you can reach them easier. And then, you know, if you have to, you have a little grabber, you can grab things from cabinets or even to pick things up off the floor. If you drop something, there's trash, or if you just something fell, or if you just need to move something that's on the floor, using that grabber just gives you that extension, and you won't have to bend down. You could get dizzy, and you won't, you know, you could fall. So using that grabber just to kind of limit that risk is a really good thing too. Again, multiple options. They're really pretty affordable and cheap. You'll see them on Amazon, drugstores, so CVS, Walgreens, stuff like that. They're really great to have. If you don't have one and you do have a risk of falling, or you just feel unsteady, or if you're reaching a lot for different items, then this reacher or this grab bar would be a really great option. One other point that I wanted to throw in here, I just didn't get a picture ready in time, was step stools, right? So if any of you out there have step stools, hopefully you have the one that has 1 or 2 steps with a bar on top. That way you have something to hold on to when you're using that step, if you have to use that step. I would recommend not using it unless you absolutely have to. But having just a step stool where there's nothing else but just a step, that could be pretty dangerous and can lead to a fall. So we just recommend using the step stool or step ladder that has a little handle on top. Okay, that's the biggest thing. Okay, so we're kind of getting towards the end of this just a little bit. I have a few more points I want to touch on. One of them is going to be stair lifts. So stair lifts, this is obviously a more expensive kind of an accessory you could use in your home. If you have stairs to get up on that second floor, you know, you have to be able to get in and out of the lift, so you can use it. It's best not to have another person in the home while using it, because if you fall out while it's going up, or if you fall out in any way, somebody can assist you. Okay. But they are expensive and they do need maintenance. Okay. So I did want to just also talk a little bit about some of the points Dr. Bob wanted me to share with you today, because unfortunately he couldn't make it. So just something that come to mind for him. They're not going to be recommending too much crutches for seniors. They're difficult to use. So we talked about that, right? Crutches didn't really fit the bill. They didn't really fit in with that, maybe for an injury sometimes, but they are going to require that really good strength and your balance. So if somebody does use them, you need to you need careful instruction in how to use them safely. Don't lean onto your armpits, like I was saying. Don't keep your elbows straight and locked. Okay. So things like that come into play when it comes to those crutches. Okay. Another point he wanted me to say for everybody was that many falls happen when people are transferring from wheelchairs to the toilet or shower, car, bed, etc. So just going over how to do those transfers is really needed to know. So talking to your doctor about all that stuff is huge. Okay, and a good time to make your plug for home safety services, right? That's what he was saying to me, for railings and grab bars and things like that. As you can go through my program at Dignity at Home, and we would go through home safety services and have things like grab bars put in to help you get out of things. That toilet safety frame could be a good one for getting from the toilet to the wheelchair, right? Things like that. Okay. And then, of rails and things too. If you have stairs in your living space, then having a rail at least on one side of your stairway is really highly recommended. Many people fall on those stairs, especially going down the stairs. Okay. And that can lead to just some really serious injuries that we want to avoid and you can prevent, because falling is preventable. Okay. So from what I know with using proper canes and things like that is that you want to use that cane with that bad side of your body. So if you're walking in the canes for the right side of the right leg, you would use it when you move the right leg forward, and then you don't want to use it with the left leg. You want to use it in place of the injured leg or the side that's weaker. Okay. And then besides that, that's kind of most of the points I was touching on today. I wanted to also just talk a little bit about my program. Okay, so I am the program coordinator for the Dignity at Home Fall Prevention Program. We provide in-home environmental assessments. We give you some fall prevention education. So we also point out things like throw rugs and other adjustments that you can make on your own or with a family member to make your home safer. And then we work on getting some injury prevention accessories installed into your home that come to no cost to you. Okay, it comes from us. It's for individuals that are 60 and up, or people with disabilities. Okay, and that you're at the risk of falling in Stanislaus County, right? So it helps to increase your confidence and helps you stay independent. That's the main goal of my program, is to keep you independent and to keep you feeling confident using things like your shower, right? I want people to be able to bathe regularly and you be able to use their bathroom confidently, or go into the garage to do laundry confidently and have things like handrails or grab bars or a threshold ramp to assist them getting in and out. Okay. So you can see just quick what the kind of requirements are. You just have to be over 60 or disabled. You have to be at risk of falling or have had a fall and be fully vaccinated from COVID-19. There is an income requirement as well, and there's just a rough estimate right here of what it is. It's for 1-person household and for a 2-person household. If you are interested in the program at all, you can stay back and talk to me at the end, or you can call the senior information line, which is this number on the bottom. And that's how you actually start the process. You would tell them you're interested in the Dignity at Home program, and then they would get some information from you, and then they would send the referral to me, and I would call you. So it is a great program to do. It's only been going for about almost 2 years, and I love doing it. I've been doing it since November. I think it's such a good program to do. And then I wanted to just show you a few of our other programs and classes through Healthy Aging Association that we do. Again, these are all at no cost to the individuals, okay? And they're very good for fall prevention. One of them is Tai Chi Quan, Movement for Better Balance. This is a class that I'm actually an instructor for. It's a fall prevention class for Tai Chi. So it's not a traditional Tai Chi. It is specifically for fall prevention, and it's evidence-based. It is Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. It's at the Stanislaus Veterans Center, okay, where I'm located at right now. We are taking new participants. You can just come to the class 10 to 15 minutes early and sign up if you'd like to. We are about 4 or 5 weeks left into the class, and then we're going to start it all over again. So I encourage people to come to the class and check it out. Don't feel pressured at all. You can take your time and hang out in the back and do the forms with us. And then when the class starts again, you can start from day one and really learn everything. It really is beneficial. I've had 2 people in class already tell me that it prevented a fall for them. Okay, really good. Sorry if I'm talking too fast. I know I only have a certain amount of time and I have a lot of things I like to tell people. Okay. Young at Heart strength training class is something we provide as well. It is a great class with we use rubber resistance tubes. It's a strength training class. Okay. It's 1 hour. We do it twice a week. It's really good. It just works on strengthening those muscles. It's a full body workout. It's nothing too strenuous. You could do it from the chair, okay, or standing. There's one in here in Modesto that is still open, and a lot of them are taking more people, okay. Sorry. If you have any questions, you can call us with that number on the bottom. That will be Healthy Aging Association, okay. The 209-525-4670. Give us a call and we will find one that's closest to where you're located or live. And that way you can really join up with those strength training classes, keep those leg muscles strong, which will help keep you from falling, right? Help prevent those falls. So in summary, I like to just talk about a few tips and how to prevent falls, right? So some tips we didn't really mention in this talk, but I like to throw into the end of this, is to make sure your pathways are clear and clutter free. It's hard to use your assistive devices like walkers or canes or wheelchairs if you can't get through a path. Okay, I've gone to some homes where the paths are really, really small. Open up those pathways the best you can. Try to declutter the best you can. The more room you have, the more safe it'll be. Okay. Light your way. Night lights are not an expensive item. I do give some out when I go on my home assessments. They are amazing tool. Okay, so easy to use. You just plug into the wall, and it really can make a big difference. I had a client in the past, and that client had a fall because they unplugged their night light because it was too bright, and when they went back to go to bed, they fell. So, you know, it's something that can actually make a really big difference. Okay. Adding supports in your bathroom, that toilet accessory, removing your rugs, the throw rugs in your bathroom can be big. Adding in those grab bars, a bath mat, a shower chair. We even install an amazing little gadget that I like a lot. If it's for a removable shower head. or you can, you put the bracket lower and you can hang your shower head so you don't have to hang it up all high. I've had
Ooh.
clients tell me it falls and hits them in the head. It can be a fall. So I love that gadget. I think I get it for almost every home assessment I go to if I can. So like, adding those supports in your bathroom are huge. Toss out throw rugs, like I said, and just be aware of your surroundings and be aware of those uneven surfaces, okay? Your pets too, those are huge. Watch out for those pets, okay? And then to prevent falls, talk with your doctor, get your vision and hearing checked regularly, okay? Your hearing can interfere with your balance, or your ear health, essentially. Use your assistive devices, okay? If you have it, just use it. Just use it as needed, though, okay? Watch out for those pets. Managing your medication. I know we talked about this one more last month in depth, but really try to swap out those medications that are, going to make you more dizzy. Talk to your doctor, see if you can, okay? Then exercise regularly if possible, or the best you can, to help keep those muscles strong, and join a fall prevention program. All right, we have a few different programs here, some I didn't get to even mention today. Okay, so if you ever have any questions, you can contact our number on the bottom. And I wanted to just let you all know about our virtual summit. We do a yearly summit for people in the community and stuff, and we're actually doing it virtual again this year. This is my first time doing it. So we are handing out bags with a bunch of goodies in it. That's going to be from our different sponsors and things like that. So I just put the website on here for you to see. You can't click it. I didn't make it really clickable. But you can always check out healthyagingassociation.org. And we have information about it up there. It's going to be from October 24th to the 28th, the whole week. It's going to be the last week of October, and it will be virtual. We're going to do talks. The next Wellness Wednesday, which is what I was going to bring up next. That's actually going to be on Summit Week. Okay, that's going to be the 26th at 2 p.m. Okay, I'm going to be talking about nutrition and falls, and I'm going to have a guest speaker of a nutritionist, Roberto. He's very, very nice. I'm excited to work with him. He's very excited to do this talk with everybody, and we're going to be talking about how nutrition plays a role with falls too, or how it can even prevent falls too, right? Okay, so with that, we are all done. Thank you very much for hanging out. If you have any questions, you can throw them at me right now. I'm going to go ahead and stop my recording.